Ba, 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 ba. What's up, everybody? We're just going to wait a couple minutes to get some more people in here. Make sure everybody's here and ready to chill out. We'll start running through exactly what a crypto party is and all the fun stuff here shortly. What's up, people? Sorry, just making sure I got the post over and everything on the Discord. Let everybody know we're about to start up. Hope everybody's been having a great weekend. Oh, actually, just had a great weekend. Welcome to the start of the week. Usually these streams are done on Fridays, so this is a bit of a off throw for me. But just gotta wait a minute. We'll jump back over to the Discord and actually start showing everything off here in just a second. Really need to get the music back on here. Get some of that DMCA free music to start going. Just but for now, I'm just gonna entertain you guys. You know. Oh, sorry about that. Today is gonna be something cool, though a little different from some of the stuff that we've done before. Nothing payload based or nothing like that. We're going to stick away from Windows AD today. We're actually going to play with a little bit of PGP, just kind of get it set up, start showing you guys some options for secure communication as well as file encryption, some cool stuff in that region. But, you know. Hey, what's up, Shinobi? Hey, if you want to, you can jump over in the Discord server too. So just so you guys know, we will be showing most of what's going on today, like the audio and video and everything is going to be coming from both my terminal and then from what's going on in the Discord. Feel free to jump over in the Discord if you want to actually interact with everybody and you want to, chill out there. I think Cosmo's there. He may not be there too long. For those of you who know, Cosmo's feeling a little under the weather today. So, let's figure out. Yeah, Cosmo's still there. Alright, yep. So we're going to work on some PGP stuff, look at what's going on there, look at some file encryption. We're actually going to start down in the Discord server too. We have just added a new channel over for PGP key storage, which means that once you get done, you generate your public key. You can throw that public key over into that channel. Everybody wants to start communicating with you PGP, knows exactly where that key who that key belongs to, and who to start sending stuff to. You communicate on Discord if you want, really through any messaging platform, but the hope is by the end of it I can teach you guys how to use PGP for some of this, like I said, secure communication, secure file encryption, leaving stuff where it needs to be, but in a secure location, a secure way too. So, feel free as we follow along, once you get done, to go ahead and drop your public key over in the PGP key storage. And, yeah, hopefully it'll be good. I'm going to go ahead and start unmuting and undeafening. Alright. Got the stream started. So, let's get into, first of all, what is PGP? It's a form of asymmetric encryption, so it revolves around having two key pairs. One's going to be your public key, one's going to be your private key, and from the way that they're obviously named, your private key is yours. You don't tell anybody that. That is your top secret. Nobody should ever be aware of what that key is or where it's stored. Now, your public key, that one, a little different. You want everybody to have that one. Like your Twitter username, like your Instagram username, you want that to be everywhere. Whatever you do, anybody you want to be able to communicate with you securely, they need to have that key, which means you need to put it somewhere that it ties to who you are. So, the basic idea is if you encrypt with one, you can decrypt with the other. And multiple keys can be wrapped together from multiple different people to create different securities. Some of the major benefits of it are, say you want to send out a message and you want people to guarantee that it is your message, that you were the one who wrote it. Like we said before, when you sign with one key, only the second one can decrypt it. which means if you send out a message that you've encrypted with your private key, everybody who has your public key can guarantee that it was you who sent out that message, because only you should have access to that private key. That means only people with your public key can decrypt it, which once again should be everybody that you interact with. It's a way of verifying who it is. Now, say you want to send a file to Joe Schmo, but you want Joe Schmo to be the only one to open it. Well, what you do is you can encrypt it with your private key and their public key. And what that means is for half of the lock that you encrypt with your private key, only your public key can be used to open it, which guarantees that you were the one sending that message. For them to open it, because you encrypted it with their public key, only their private key can open it, which means that they're the only ones who can open that second part of the lock. So it creates a nice secure dual chain where one person sends it, can be verified that it is theirs who sent it, and the other person is the only one who can open it. It's a nice little security chain. So then we get into the other option, which is if you want to do file encryption on your local devices or on servers. By encrypting something with your public key, only your private key can open it. And like I said, that private key should be strictly private. It means when you encrypt stuff like that, you only want to encrypt it with your public key. So let's get started on the keygen process. We're going to pop open to Tilix. And we are going to go, even though it's called PGP, the client for it is actually GPG. I want to make sure the stream's still running good, make sure we don't have any errors that are going on right now. Before we get started on this keygen process, anybody got any questions on what PGP is? Anything you want to ask before we get started? Let's see, Cromwell, I know you were here in the Discord chat. You were kind of the main reason we're wanting to do any of this. I mean, is all of it seem clear so far? Oh, he's muted. Oh, he's doing VC text. Let's see. Yep, okay. Yeah, stream looks like it's going good. Looks like we're still fine. Alright. So, we're going to use GPG. This is going to be for the Linux users first. We'll roll over to a Windows-based client here in just a second and start playing with that. But, what was that? Yeah, actually transitioned back. I've got my Windows machine in a M.2 enclosure so I can still play with my Windows Forensics course and all that. But, you know, I'm gonna stick with Linux as my primary for a little while longer, just because I still really love Linux. But we're going to go to TAC H first and just look at the options. So, even though it's called PGP encryption, which stands for pretty good privacy, we're actually going to use GPG, which is GNU's PGP variant, or I guess implementation of it. So we start looking, we've got a couple different options, make a signature. All these different options can play in depending on how you're using these keys, but the most important thing that we need to do first and foremost is generate a key. I believe right here. We can generate a full key, or we can do a quick generation. For anybody who plans to use this key long term, I do recommend going through the actual generate key option instead of the quick generation. You get a little more control over it, get a little more, choice on what you're doing. No, still in the terminal. We're good. So we're going to go GPG and then TAC generate TAC key. Now, before you hit enter on this command, check your time and date. Whenever you're generating a PGP key, you get the chance to set an expiration date, and that expiration date is going to be based off of the starting point of your current system time. So if you start with, 2 years in the past and you set it to expire in 3 years, that key's only actually going to last 1 year. Because it doesn't matter, once you've generated the key, it bases that generation time off of that what's already on. So if you port it to a new system with correct time, it's never actually going to update that expiration time. So go ahead and check that before you start, but as soon as you're ready for that, go ahead and hit enter, and we're going to put a real name. So I'm not going to do that. It's Matze. My name's out there. If you fuckers want to try to search it, go for it. It's on the site. But for now, I'm not going to make it easy. Not going to make it easy for you. But, you know what? Do I actually... Hold on. After saying all that, it asks my email, and my email has my name in it, so I kind of have to give you guys my name. Nah, I'm gonna do it. Feel free to shoot me an email using your PGP key. How's the audio quality sound, by the way? Okay. He is totally rocky. If you can't tell, totally doesn't sound like you. Deeper and sexier. Okay, so once you have your name and your email, it's going to verify, hey, is this the name of the email you want? Go ahead, hit OK. Now, here's the cool part. So, we talked about having your public key and your private key, and how you want to distribute your public key, but you always want to keep your private key to yourself. Well, as an extra layer of protection, to be able to actually utilize your private key, you need a password. It means that even if somebody steals that public key, they still have to have the password, even just to distribute it and move it around. To utilize it, they'll still need that password. So this needs to be a very secure password you don't tell anybody. So, go ahead and start generating that password. As far as I know, there isn't. But I could be wrong. I would just say... I messed it up. I would say follow standard password practices of, so many characters long, special characters, uppercase, lowercase. Even more so, I would say actually probably increase that if you can. Use passphrases and not just passwords. Oh, as you can see, I timed out. I didn't enter it fast enough. Let's go through and re-enter that information. But if I were you, this password needs to be strong. Keep in mind, if you're using this the way it's meant to be, if someone has your private key, they are you in all sense and purposes. I mean, that's kind of the whole idea of this. It's meant to be a identification tool, as well as a security tool as well. So. Fat fingering that a little bit, and then we're gonna hit. Yes, you can. That's the cool part. As long as you use your public key, then only your private key can decrypt it. Man's about to pull Mr. Robot. Not only is this man the IT, he is the entire IT department. It's not his fault he's an idiot, so are the people who hired him. So as you see, once you enter that password, it generates your key real quick. So as you saw, there was some features missing. Whenever it came to that generation, there was no chance to set that expiration date. It automatically defaulted to your certificate, which is nice if you just want to do it quick and easy. Like I said, there is also the quicker option, which is just simply give a name and it generates. I'm pretty sure it doesn't ask for an email. But let's say we want to start adding more detail. Let's actually, I'm pretty sure it was full gen was the old command to do a full key generation. It lets you pick the length and all that sort of stuff. Because for those of you who don't know, you get to choose the length and complexity of what goes into it. So it does use RSA. It looks like right here it defaulted to 3072, but I believe you can bring it all the way to its max. It was 42 something. Off the top of your head, do you know what it is, Crimler, what the max for RSA is? Okay, if you can't, that's okay. I'm about to have the command pulled up and it'll tell us what the max is. What was it? Full gen key is the command. So we're going to go ahead and real quickly we're going to run. That was just the quick and dirty way. We're actually going to go through the actual full key gen so I can show you what really goes into the full key so you can see exactly the different components. It gives you a bit of an idea as well as to what actually the key is, what goes into the components, specifically key length and stuff like that. Some of the cooler features and, reason I bring it up is because you can actually do short-term keys. And what those short-term keys will allow you to do is you set like a very short expiration date. Say you want a key for 1 week. Something for DEF CON. You want to send stuff for DEF CON, you want to encrypt it just specifically for this occasion, just messages. Or say you want to do some sort of CTF challenge type stuff like that. Or just because you need short-term keys because of the way the environment you're in, how dangerous it is. Generating those keys for a very short period of time allows you to just regenerate new ones. Yeah. So what we're going to do is go ahead and select RSA and RSA, which by default is the best option. RSA, for those of you who don't know, is great. I'm trying to remember what RSA actually stands for. Let me Google that real quick just to make sure. Yep, here's what I was talking about right here, key size. So the max key size is 4096. What does... It's... Yes. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the RSA actually stands for. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm going to stick that in the YouTube chat and let you guys try to decipher what the hell that means. So, it looks like it. So the 3 people who decided. So as you can see, the max size that we can go to is a 4096. Mind you, the better it is, the longer it is, the better it is, which, is the rule of thumb for most things in life. But, so let's go with 4096. And then, here's where we get to set it, expiration. So we can be very specific in it. So if we want to do how many days, we can set days. So we want to do it for weeks, we can do weeks, we can do months, years. But we can get very specific on this. Say we want it to last for 1 year, 3 months, 2 weeks, and a day. We can specify that exactly written out. All you have to do is put let's see, so 1 year, what was it, 1 year, 2 days. I believe this is the format. I need to check the format again before I tell you this, but I would say just go ahead and stick with rudimentary years. If this is just meant to be for your file encryption, mind you kind of want this to be a longer lasting key if you plan to use it for local file stuff and you want to do it as a long-term identity, especially if your intentions are to encrypt your files. I mean, I would hate to see that you guys write a key, encrypt your files with it, and then after 2 years and a day after you forgot to replace or decrypt those files and re-encrypt them with a new key, you've just lost access to all your files. Because let me tell you, the day this key expires, it no longer works. It doesn't. That's the beauty of it. The key is not meant to work past its expiration date. So, we're going to set this one for the next 10 years. Yeah, sure. Looks right. 2032. Real name. Back to the steps we've seen before. Now it's going to be pretty rudimentary from what we've seen before. Matze. So you also want to make sure this email that you set in here is actually going to be a long-standing email as well. PGP is typically used through email. There's a lot of email clients that have plugins built into it to automatically use your PGP key you give it to encrypt those messages and send them out. ProtonMail is one of those. You can actually plug in your PGP key directly to it, and it'll encrypt and decrypt. You can send a consistent, you can build out your key authority and trust and sign and everything. We'll get into what signing is here in just a minute. What is it? Oh yeah, it's real awesome. So comment, Oh yeah, we'll be streaming for a little bit, as long as it takes to cover this, because the plan is to not only teach you guys how to use these keys and how to generate them, but also teaching you actually, well, like I said, how to use them. There'll be examples where, since I've got Cosmo here and I've got Crimeware, we're going to share public keys. I'm going to show you guys how to sign a key and add it to your ring, and then from there how to actually encrypt and decrypt messages, and hopefully show with a third party, someone who wasn't included in that message, how they actually can't view that key or any of the messages that's in it. So we're going to actually show just how reliable it is. There we go. Like I said, make sure that you create that password very strong. So you start here, it automatically drops that key into here. We'll go through and start showing some of the keys and everything that are listed here in just a second. Let's see. We're actually probably about to start exporting the public key into the Discord just so I can show you guys what that looks like. Make sure I got everything correct. Check my syntax. I need to list my keys, so let's go into GPG, tag help again. We're going to look over here and find our list keys. List keys, or tag K. So you can see we have a couple keys that come up. We're going to go with this one right here. This is our actual longer generated key, the 10-year one. This is that little original short, just the tag type gen key. So it's got a very short generation time. As you can see, we have a very nice message under this key, specific to what I want everybody to know when they see this key. So, yeah, that's a nice little thing too. You can add a note into your key that whenever people actually view that, it'll come with it as you go. So what we are going to do is GPG tac export. Nope. Export, and then it's going to be is it going to let me just do it by Matze? Let's try. Yeah, as you can see, because I named them both Matze, it's going to come up and be a little bit of a difficult situation. Matze, and we're going to name the key Matze underscore pub dot, what can you, I think it's Pgp is what you end the extension with. You don't have to, I think you can just leave it as a normal file. Let's check that, just see. Pgp. Oh yeah, I should probably actually don't do what I just did. Whatever you do. We actually have to direct that into a file. So if we ls, you can see we now have Matze pub. We're going to go ahead and cat. And as you can see, we have this long string of this. Real pretty stuff. Let's make sure that came out right, because that doesn't quite look like it's supposed to. For those of you in the Discord server, specifically the VC text, we did a crypto party here about, I want to say a year ago maybe, and we found this meme forever. What if we exchanged our public keys? And it's this big meme with all these different like emojis and stuff like that. And it was the original banner we used for the event. Looks like Soul found that original banner, but it's something if you guys haven't seen it. Let me check, make sure there's no questions on the stream. Was there anybody who's having trouble with the key generation yet? Everybody good? Primary's yours work all right? Primer? That's weird. Cosmo, are you still there? Oh man, I can't hear you guys. Hold on, let me figure out what's going on here. Oh, can you guys talk real quick? Am I deafened or something? I don't think so. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, Cosmo, you try now? Yep, that worked. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. So, Cromwell, your key general, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so let me make sure I'm going to export this correctly, just to make sure we're going to put it in the right spot. We should what? We should. I might, when we post the video, I'll probably send that as the thumbnail. That's not a bad idea at all. Let's make sure I exported the right key. Looks like I might need to use... Yep, I think it's PGP armor I need to use, and that's why it didn't come out correctly. So we're going to go back to our export command, and we're going to do tac armor. We're going to export it. Let's run that again after we've cleared out the... Make sure we're getting the correct copy. See, that looks better. That's what you should come out with. So don't forget your PGP armor when you do it. I need to do research on what armor is, but if I remember back from whenever I first started messing with this, app armor just basically makes it to where no matter what format it comes across, it still maintains the data integrity. So you can still look at it at different, different ISO formats, different stuff like that. You could still view the data properly. So what I'm going to do is we've got matzepub.pgp. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the Discord server. Crimeware, if you wouldn't mind exporting your key the same way, and just go ahead and popping that file over here, that'd be great. And for anybody also in the stream right now who is watching this, go ahead and pop your key over there too if you're not already in the Discord. Let me post a link over to the Discord real fast. Yeah, pop in here, jump over to that channel, go ahead and start posting your keys in there too. We're going to start moving on to how to import keys and how to do all that fun stuff, and then we'll actually start working on some of the encryption, and then afterwards I'll show you about a file encryption, and we'll move over to the Windows version of it. We'll start using, what was the tool called? It was it Pgp or something like that? I need to check it out again, make sure I got it right. I'm almost certain it was Pgp. Chrome, are you there? I think we're waiting on Chrome. It's all good. Okay, you're good. Where to put what? Oh, you're doing on Linux, aren't you? Let me see if I still save that, or did I clear it when I cleared it? You should just be able to export it directly from there. So, did you see the command that I ran there at the end? Alright, here, I'll put it in chat real quick for you to look at. So obviously this will be for my naming format and everything for my key, so you'll need to change it for yours, but it'll be this command schema. So if you need to, oh, wrong button. First, make sure I got the command right. I believe it was just tact list. Oh, it's tac k, that's what it is. So do gpg tac k first, and that should list all your keys. You should only have 1 or 2 keys listed. Oh, you should only have 2 keys. So it should be the public key and the private key. Okay, yeah. So once you do tac k or gpg tac k, the next command you're going to do is what I'm about to send you right now. Let's see, vc text. That's how I exported mine. You'll also have to change the name format and the name that are there, how it says Matze. It'll be whatever you put in for your real name of the key. And then you can name it whatever you want to. I suggest the format, whatever name you put in under, so crimeware _pub dot, GPG. Don't forget the app armor, because if you forget armor, it will not generate correctly. You're good, go for it. Can you just view keys that way? No, it just takes it over to download immediately. Okay. Is anybody else having any issues over in chat whenever it comes to the key generation or the export? Like I said, once you've generated it, if you need to check and make sure your key generated, it'll just be GPG tac k. That'll be your list command, or if you want, you can do tac list, and that'll show you what keys you have. Also, remember, GPG tac h is always the best way just to look at what all options there are, the import, export, all that sort of stuff. It's just the man page, too. The man page is always a great place to go and look at the different commands and everything. Oh, on the stream, is y'all's audio not coming through? Let me see. I'm seeing desktop audio for you guys coming through. Let me make sure it's set. Let's see. Properties. Are you on the stream? Okay, tell me, can you hear you guys now, or is that better? Oh, I just heard myself come through your mic because of the stream. That's weird. I'm sorry for everybody who just heard my voice, or has been hearing my voice. Wow. No, I'm just fucking around. You're good. Alright, let me see what I can do about that. Okay. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Didn't know. But we're just waiting for Crimeware to do his export of his key. Once we get that, we should be good to go. Let's check and see if he's... Oh, if you look under Help and Resources, there's a PGP key storage chat, and it's specifically for dropping those keys in. So I figured for everybody who's following this, we can drop them down there and have that. I'm going to go ahead and download this. That's right here, though, since it's just here. So... Okay, so I've downloaded that. Let's go ahead and pop over. Let's go to... Where did I put in home or not? I did. Okay, so we're going to cat crimewares just to see what it comes across as. You can see it's the same format I showed up here. Key's different. Let's go ahead and look at these first couple characters right here. This MQG. Pop over to mine. MQ. Hold on. That's interesting. Let's make sure they're 7Y4 or 4Y. Okay. Yeah, they're different. Scared me for a second. Our first couple characters of our keys are the same. I'm not exactly sure like how the breakdown of everything is in here and what it actually translates into. But what we're gonna go and do is, as you can see, we do have Crimeware's key here. We're gonna go GPG tac import and then Crimeware's key. We have now imported total number of... Okay, 2 imported. Talk to me nicely. Did you include 2 different emails? No, it's 2, the same ones. Oh, I see. It listed the key first and then import. That's weird. Let's try... K. Yeah, I'm seeing 2 keys now. They're both listed as public keys. Did you generate 2 or just 1? Maybe that's okay. Let me verify. Let me check something just to make sure. Oh, that's interesting. Typically it should only say... did you see the process I used to import my key or no? It should be... Yeah, okay, so did you import my key yet? You're good. Cosmo should be right back. Yeah, feel the pain. You're good. Unfuck Wi-Fi. Oh, actually, you guys can see that. I shouldn't be looking at memes while we're on stream. What's up, guys? But that is, for those of you who saw, a very, very useful alias. Just unfuck Wi-Fi for that sudo service network manager restart. It's great. You're good. Yep, we're just waiting. It's all good, guys. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and post them in chat. If you want, go ahead and jump into the VC and come, drop in and hang out with us. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we might have to look into that, figure out what that is, but... Alright, let's go and try something. So, what I'm going to do is go ahead and just... we're going to nano a message. Actually, let's do it properly. Message.txt. Since we're technically creating a text document. And this is a super secret message. Oh yeah, for sure. I would love to do more content like this. We're trying to do more with the Active Directory stuff. The problem with the Active Directory stuff is I don't set up very many environments too often, and with those environments I do set up, there are errors involved in it, and those errors involve troubleshooting time and stuff like that. And it's a little different doing it in front of people because you kind of constantly see these errors that are coming through. We're not really moving through the actual material as often and as frequent as I'd want to, so it kind of gets a little iffy on that. We try to bring that same kind of level of, chill out and talk about it and kind of explain some of the stuff. We're actually in the middle of troubleshooting an error with laps and all that sort of stuff, but I'm glad you enjoy this. The hope is to continue to advertise the PGP section and kind of encourage more public and private key use, specifically for file encryption, some of that messaging stuff. That'd be awesome. Fun to put out officially certified messages just from you type stuff like that. It'd be, kind of cool, shits and giggles type stuff. But so as you can see, we have message.txt, and this is a super secret message. So right now, if I send this, I post it on to the chat and I post it in Discord, everybody can read this. Everybody can see the contents inside. Nobody's just, it's showing everything. So, how do we make it to where only me and Crowdmark can see this super secret message? Well, we're going to use our PGP keys. So, what we're going to do is make sure I got this correct. I want to make sure the syntax are correct before I send you guys on this wild goose chase. So, encrypt is, I'm sure it's just PGP, GPG. Yeah, it's GPG. GPG, tac, encrypt, and then message.txt. And it's going to say enter the user IDs in with it. Fine. Okay, so we're going to put Matze for mine. And it's going to use current recipient. Let's close that one out. I don't do that one. I want to do just Crowdmark, so it should just sign with my private key. So let's do... What did you actually name yours? It was... There it is. Copy. This is not so this is a very important thing. So if you notice, we actually grabbed his key. It does show it inside of our key ring, but it says that this is not it is not central that this key belongs to the person named. In the name ID, if you really know what they're doing. Sorry. This is why I don't live stream people. I can't English, and I can't read. I mean, I can, just not in front of people. So, it is not certain that this key belongs to the person named in the user ID. If you really know what you are doing, you may answer the next question with yes. So, I know it is his key, even though I haven't signed it, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of that message here in a second. Go ahead and sign it. It's going to say, okay, do we need to add it to anybody else? No, I don't. So I'm going to just hit end. Okay, and now if I hit ls, I should have a message text.gpg. So if I go ahead and cat that file, message text.gpg. You see, this is unreadable. I mean, good luck making anything out of this, even if no matter what format I open it into, this is not going to be viewable. So what I'm going to do real quick is take this message, Crimeware, I'm going to drop it over in VC text. I want you to use GPG tac decrypt on this. Okay? Hey, so what's up? What was that? Yeah, so we're getting a little more in depth on some of the stuff that we covered before. So before we just kind of showed some key generation stuff and how to send messages, but I'm planning on going a little more into some of the file encryption stuff, and also showing before we just kind of sent messages and showed how to open it and close it, but we never showed what happens if somebody who doesn't have the key involved in that message actually gets a hold of it. So I'm glad you showed up. So if I post that message, Crimeware, you want to go ahead and download that message for me real quick, or download that file? You're good, no rush. So, oh yeah, because you're having to transport it from VMs, aren't you? We'll show the Windows side of it here in just a second on how to do the setup for that. For those of you who want to go ahead and prep it, if you just want to go ahead and search for an application called GPG for Window, or GPG for Win, I'll put that name here in the chat. Actually, let me see, is this the link to it? Yeah, it is. Here, I'm just going to post it directly in the chat. So that right there is going to be, let me post it on VC text for you. But that right there is going to be the Windows-based application. When you guys go to do the installation, if you want to run it, go ahead and select the settings. What was it? GNU, and then you want to do the, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I'm going to mess it up. So let me put that in stream text real quick. Make sure you select the GNU Pgp. Is it GNU? GNU is GNU, isn't it? Yeah, okay. GNU, and then so when you guys install it, you will actually see two options to select in the menu for selection stuff. Make sure you include those two. Okay. Yep, no, you're good. You got it right there. Yeah, see, decrypt. So automatically it said this is a super secret message. So if you can see, he got the message. He was able to decrypt it. So real quick, Soul Sender, I'm gonna, that same message that I just dropped over in VC text, that message.txt.pgp, you want to go and download that for me, and go ahead and run the same command, the gpg tac decrypt. We're in streaming right now. Did you say you're running that, Soul? Okay, perfect. Let me know what comes up. Post it if you can. Will you post a screenshot of the message? Thank you. Perfect. So, as you guys can see, whenever he got his hands on that key, doesn't have it. So, if you want, go ahead and... Oh, you won't actually be able to. Yep, crypto party. You won't actually be able to decrypt it even if you take my public key, because it is also encrypted, or it has to have CrimeWare's private key to decrypt. Let's go ahead and show that real quick. Down in the chat, there's a PGP key storage. So your key is down there. Will you do me a favor and go ahead and import? That's a new key from the one I had previously. So if you want to encrypt, or go ahead and import that key. And yeah, go ahead. It should just be GPG tac import and then the key name. So it should just be that Matze PGP or Matze pub PGP whenever you download it. You can, but it won't help with CrimeWares. I do suggest everybody, as soon as you can, go ahead and start signing these keys and everything. Start bringing them into your loop. Real quick on the kind of topic of this, while we're waiting for him to import that key, for him to do a second run, just to kind of show that even if he has one key, if he doesn't have both, it doesn't work. The whole point of a crypto party is actually for a cool purpose called the Web of Trust. The idea is that I know that key is coming from CrimeWare, and I know this key is coming from Sol. So when I sign these keys and I say that they're trustworthy on my end, any keys that I export to anybody have been verified on my part, which is called first-person trust. Now, say Cosmo jumps into this and he wants to start hanging out with the group, this, that, and the third. He's the new guy. I throw him my key ring, he imports it, and he trusts everybody because I trust everybody. That's second-hand trust. The whole point of what's going on here is we're going to create a web of trust, essentially, from all the members who are in the Cosmo New Discord server. As you start posting them, because it's tied to your account, I know that at least whoever I'm messaging with that PGP account, or that PGP key, is the owner of that account. Alright, so were you able to import that key again? What's up, Cosmo? You said, bro. Oh, is that after you imported the key still? Yeah. Yeah, okay, awesome. So you can see that he actually does not have that key. So even though he had my key, the public key, which would have been the second half. Oh, I can give you a quick rundown here in just a second. Elite, if you want me to. Give me just a second. We kind of covered some of that earlier, but I can give a quick... Oh, it might give me a hospital mate. Okay. So those who don't know, Cosmo's actually in clinic/hospital right now because of his COVID and everything. Got him quarantined and all that fun stuff. So just a refresher, because there's some other people kind of jumping in, kind of building over to this. Let's cover real quick, just a real quick refresher on how to generate these keys. And I'll post with comments and everything, or the commands and everything. So first thing you want to do is get COVID sucks. Elite, are you watching the my screen or on the stream, I guess? Because if you're watching there, I'll just do it on stream, that way everybody can see it. Okay, yeah, go ahead and load up the stream real quick, and then you can see the stream, or see my screen and everything while I'm doing. So as you guys saw real quick while we're waiting for him to jump back in, the first error message he got was specifically related around having no keys at all. So that threw him an error, didn't have the key. But if you look over at the second error after he actually loaded in my public key, you can see he was actually still missing CrimeWare's key. And so that was throwing off the other issue. So that's nice. Just goes to show you that even if somebody does intercept that message, if they are not part of that key exchange when you first set it up, they cannot open it. Now, here's something I do want to know. Let's try this. Who just jumped in? It's notorious. Or big. What's up, man? Hope you're still on stream. That was good. So what I want to try, now that we have two of you guys here with keys, while we're waiting on Elite to get over here, I want to actually sign that message again. But I want to do it using both of you guys' public keys, and I want to see if it'll let you guys open it individually or not. So what we are going to do is RM. You're good. You can talk while you're here if you want to, too, if you got questions and everything. Yeah, it's not an issue. So what we're going to do is go through again and go GPG tac encrypt. There we go. Encrypt message.txt. and it's going to ask for recipients. I need to export your key before I do that, actually. OS, did I put yours in this area? Yep, I did. So, GPG, tac, import, Sol. And there we go. We imported another key. Here's the weird part: is Sol's only exported one key, or imported one key for me, which is weird because we imported two for both mine and for Crimeware's. I still do. Oh, that's on a different system. I cleared that one, so I don't have those keys anymore. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think I accidentally generated two keys, and that's why it exported two of mine because they were under the same name. But Crimeware only generated one, but when I imported his, it came with two keys and not just one. So let's go. If we do GPG again, tac K, we can see now that we should have Sol Sender down here. You just sent me the note says GitHub GPG key. Okay. Okay, I'm totally not gonna mess around with that later, but no, just mess with it because I have the public key. It won't matter. Well, I guess it depends on how GitHub signs everything when it transitions. If it does it with the private key, then technically your public key would be what you'd use to decrypt it. But to me, it would use your public key and use your private key to decrypt. That would be the smarter way to implement that. No, when you do the export, it doesn't select your private key. You have to specifically enter something to export your private key. So we're going to go ahead and encrypt message, and we're going to put in not for export, or not whenever you, well, I guess when you export the message you can, but you don't need to. Armor, we were talking about this earlier, whenever you export stuff into different formats, so like if you were to transition over to Windows, Mac, whatever, it still maintains the contents of the file no matter what it is, no matter what format you view it in. Or at least that's what I remember it being. I could be wrong on it, but I'm almost certain that's what it was. We can Google that here in just a second, but I want to test this first because I've actually never done this with multiple people before. And then we've got our two people listed on. It's interesting. It didn't actually. No, it did. Okay, it asked me if I trust this person, so we're going to end it. And if we look, we should have a new message.txt.pgp. So what I'm going to do is send this into chat and. Trusted networks created. Okay, so you created one. So to give you an idea, what you just did, that tac K. Tac K is to list keys. If you don't have keys, that thing should come up. That command or that response that just came back up is because your trusted database is created whenever you generate your first key, because it obviously has to be stored. So yeah, download the keys there. So what I'm going to do is post that new encrypted message. Do me a favor, Sol, and let me know if you were actually able to open that message by yourself. And if not, will you post the message and tell me what it says? Another thing, too, is just so you guys know, once you encrypt a message, if you include another person's key on top of that, you actually can't open that message again until after, or unless you have their private keys. So once you encrypt a message, if you're not 100% sure on it, don't send it. It's probably better just to repackage the message with the proper stuff inside once you verified it, but, you know. We're just waiting. Yes, that's normal because you're using your private key to decrypt. Which is good. If it's asking for your private key, that almost certainly means that it's actually going to work. Also, for those of you who are watching who saw the announcement today, the new Ducky launched, or I guess haven't seen the announcement, the new Ducky launched with some really cool features on it. Apparently two major things. Apparently 2 0 days technically are implemented to this now to create some features. One is Something involving automatic OS detection. Instead of having to kind of build it in and custom write the script for it, you can now just use a function inside of it to do the OS detection. And the other thing is something about side streaming or something like a side stream attack. Essentially what it does is if you have, the way that Jacoby explained it to me is that whenever you use a keyboard and you hit, caps lock and everything, if you have multiple keyboards plugged in, all of them will still show caps lock, and that's because it sends data and retrieves it between the devices. And apparently you can utilize that same data retrieval for exfiltration and uploading your own stuff. Did it work, by the way, Soul? Awesome. Yeah, so he's one of the key signers on there. So if you saw, I put his public key on that. Even though he's only one of the members, he's technically authorized to do that, which means you can include it to a group of members and anybody in there can verify it. So if you need to send a message to a group and you need them to be the ones to see it and they need to make sure that it is you, they can do it. So let's get on that review real quick just to show Elite real fast what that was. Elite, you looking at the stream? Okay, so what we're going to do is do, what was it, PGP, was it full tac? The key what? Oh yeah, you can do that easy. Just export them off to USBs. I'll show you how to do the private keys here in just a bit. So if you look at the command I've got in chat or in my terminal right now, it's going to be that GPG tac full tac generate. Huh? Yeah, that'll start your key. Do you already have a key? If you haven't generated, then no. So yeah, go ahead and run this. What I would suggest is it's going to ask you for key length as well. You'll see the max length is 4059, I think, or something like that. Whatever it was in text. RSA. Go ahead and do RSA. 4096. 4096 is max size, so go ahead and run that one. Alright. I suggest setting this long term. I set mine for 10 years, especially if you plan on using this for file-based encryption and for messaging stuff, because if people use that key, the day that key expires, the messages will no longer be able to be decrypted, including files as well. Files will no longer be able to be decrypted. So as you guys saw, we were able to send out messages to multiple people real quick. Yes, in your note you need to put your social, for sure. That's normal, perfectly normal. So while we're waiting on that real quick, I'm going to check something. So as you guys saw, whenever I was encrypting and decrypting those messages, there was a warning every time that came up. And it was saying, hey, you know, this key is not trusted, we can't verify. So that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Say you grab somebody's key, you're not sure it's them, so you send some messages, it's still going to pop up and say we can't verify. So what we need to do, I need to first person verify these keys. I need to say, I know these keys belong to this person, I trust this person to be this key owner. So this needs to be a very strong passphrase, because this will be that'll be how you unlock your key, so nobody can ever steal that key unless you specifically have that password. So souls is good, but let's check this one. Which key was that? That was the E13. G-Tank. Sign key, let's try. Is this what I need? That was for... Whose key did I grab there? Yeah. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. So if you guys are looking back on stream again, I was actually just looking at what I was talking about, that first person signing and making sure that everything is officially ours whenever we do it. So if you look, what I did just a second ago is if you actually start by listing your key, so that GPG TAC K, you can see down here we've got this ID. Oh, your key, how to export it and everything? You don't need to send us a picture. So what you're actually going to do real quick, type in GPG space TAC armor space TAC export space. You remember when I asked you for what the real name was? Go ahead and enter in whatever that real name was that you put there, and then yeah, let me send you the command that I entered to get that there. And you can just change what I typed for... Yeah, I'd put it in chat right there. Yep, okay, perfect. You beat me to it, actually. Thank you, Crimeware. I appreciate that. Alright, so while he's doing the export, you can drop in that chat when you get done with it. Elite. So, as you guys saw just a second ago, I've listed out these PGP keys. We've got these IDs here that are assigned with them. So, right now, I don't have Soul Senders signed, which means it's technically not a trusted PGP key. So if I go PGP, TAC, what's up? Okay, cool. And then you exported it, correct? Okay, then you can post it inside of the Discord chat. Wherever you put it, hit LS. It probably put it in your root directory if you were in your root directory. So as you can see, I use this ID, which is tied to Soul Sender's key, and it's saying, hey, this key is due to expire on 2026-804. So do you want to sign this key as Matze, which means that I am trusting this key. I'm going to say yes. It's going to ask me to use my private key because I'm signing this with my private key saying I do trust this. So we're going to go and enter that key, or that password. Make sure I got this right. And bam. So now if I go ahead and let's see if it changes whenever I list it now, since I've technically signed it. Huh? Okay, perfect. I'm just trying to make sure, see if it changes anything from when I signed it. Full. Oh, perfect. Actually, you see right here where it says unknown and it says full, there's full trust on your key now. So I was covering key signing and everything, and so what key signing is say I'm actually about to export your key. So what I'm going to do is take your key, throw it into my key ring, and by default when a key comes in, it has an unknown trustworthiness. It's not until I verify its trustworthiness and I sign that key with my public or my private key that it says that it's a trusted key. So if you look on stream, we've got right here, we've got this key, which is an unknown key. This one belongs to Crimeware. But if you look down here, we've got Soul Sender's key, which I've just signed. It is now full, which stands for full trust. If you see up here how I've got ultimate on these, it's because I generated these. I know they're mine, so there's full trust there. Ultimate trust on them because they came from this device. What was that? Oh, that goes to what we were talking about a second ago. I can put my trust on keys for Soul Sender, and if I send my key ring over to Soul Sender and it includes your key and it wasn't, I believe there is some inherent trust that comes with it, partial trust, because I trust it, but it'll still be up to the user to assign a trust to that key. That's where you start getting second-hand trust. So first-hand trust is me knowing this is Soul Sender's key. I trusted it. I fully know it's him. It could only be him from the time it's sent to me, and we proved that by sending a message that only he was able to decrypt. I know the same thing goes with this key here. What was that? Yes, exactly, because this is your identity. So you know what he means by that, Elite, correct? So PGP has a couple different uses. One of its main uses that people like is you can only decrypt a message with one key. Like, so if I encrypt it with my public key, I can only decrypt it with my private. And if I decrypt it with my private key, you can only decrypt it with my public. It means that if you are able to decrypt it with one half of my key, you can guarantee it came from the other half. Because keys do not intermix. They belong to their other half specifically. So, if you send me a message using your public key, or your private key that you decrypted, and I use your public key to decrypt it, I know that message came from you. Which means I can guarantee who the recipients are of that. So it's almost a way of confirming your identity. As long as you trust the key to belong to that person, you have that identity. You can guarantee it's them. Does that make sense? Okay, over in VC text. Which one should I delete? Well, that's the question we're trying to figure out. Do they have... Oh, there are two separate keys. I thought that was weird. Cremware, were you playing around with GPG by chance before you jumped in here? All of it? No, but, that's a good question, Cremware. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly what it was. It was that. So, what I would suggest is probably take that longer lasting one, that one that's for 2024, or if you want to, you can go ahead and regenerate a full-on key if you want to real quick, unless that's the time you want it to last. Okay. You can remove the old ones in the system you're currently working on too, and it won't associate it whenever you do that. But yeah, so you can remove. Let me look at the commands for deleting keys. But what I would suggest is actually setting a long-term key, because these ones are only set for, the first one is a year and the second one's 2 years. So that'll give you the chance to keep one. What was Elite? What was that? Yeah. No, it works, as long as you used apt armor when you export it, but this is just for importing a key, correct? So, do me a favor, go ahead and cat the key, and tell me what it looks like, or send me a screenshot of it. You can do it in the server, it's not a big deal, because what's in the key is a public key, which means everybody needs to have that data to communicate properly. So it's not a big thing if somebody sees it. It's actually encouraged. Are you talking about like key authority type stuff where you upload it and it's publicly available for anybody to grab, or? I'm not familiar with the Matrix server, actually. That's right, so you can import that if you want to, Elite. GPG, tac import, and then the file name, so matze_pub.gpg. Will you explain what a Matrix server is? It may ring a bell after you start. I haven't specifically shown that yet, but I've shown that you can use it through here. So here's an interesting thing for you guys. You don't just have to send the file itself. So far I've just sent an actual text document, but if I cat message dot, if I take this that's here, I would, before you do this, I would actually encrypt this with armor. So when you do it, do tac armor tac encrypt. What is it? Yeah, so it technically can be decrypted like this because PGP will sort its shit out, but if you want to actually post the message into like Discord, which let me do that real quick actually. So let's do RM. We're gonna remove message. Who was that who left? Make sure I didn't decrypt. I think it was Cosmo. Okay, Cosmo left. He's probably to manage all your. Oh, that's awesome. We might set up a Matrix server. So, key signing was the next thing. So whenever you list your keys, there should be like where you see kind of the expiration date. Just below that, you should see a string of random characters, letters and numbers, and then below that, you should see the name of who it belongs to. If you go through and hit GPG, tac sign tac key, and then that little random ID, that'll actually sign that key. It'll ask for your password for your private key, but what you're doing is saying, I trust this key to belong to this person. You got to import it first. It's got to be a part of the keyring before you can import it and sign, or before you can sign it. So GPG space tac import, and then space the key name. So if I just want to do it, mesh encryption. Okay, so let's do it properly then. Let's do Crimeware has 2 keys because he accidentally generated 2. He's going to delete those. You can still import them for the sake of... Actually, we'll probably remove those in a second. It's good that you did import those because then I can show you how to delete keys here in just a second. So what I did is went ahead and regenerated that message, but I used app armor when I encrypted it this time. It's specifically for Sol, so what we're going to do is do message... As you can see, it comes out in this nice, pretty PGP message here. So, say you want to send this in an email, but you're using Gmail and it doesn't include the ability to natively add PGP keys. That's okay. You can actually use this on anything, regardless of whether it's supported for PGP by default or not, just by simply using this. So, if you're using and you're communicating with something that is open, such as, I don't know, say you're on an unencrypted IRC chat, and you want to send a message to one particular person, and you only want them to get it, here's the way to do it. Because it doesn't matter if there's encryption, if anybody grabs it in the middle, they can't break this unless they're part of the key. So, right there, I just sent that message over to you, Sol. Do you want to go ahead and decrypt that for me again? Let me know if that works for you. Just testing theories. I'm almost certain this is how it works, but I want to make sure that we cover it in the video and the chat and everything. That way everybody can see that it does for sure work. You do, whenever you do it, but I was showing, like, if you're using an unencrypted service and you can't send attachments, you can, and you only have the ability to text chat, you can still use PGP in it just by simply putting it in this format. Mm-hmm. Decrypt it. Yeah, that's another cool thing too, is transferring code securely. Like Sol was talking about earlier, he uses his PGP for the sake of his Discord uploads. Did that work or no? Okay, perfect. Yeah, it did. Sorry, your terminal colors have red in it, and so I'm so used to seeing red as an error. So unless I click on that image, I see, the Sol sender. You're good. But as you see, that worked, which is great. Like Kramer was saying, you can encrypt full-on malware if you wanted to and send it in this way, and it does not lose bytes, and it securely gets transferred, and only certain people can open it. I wouldn't suggest for malware exclusively, but for the sake of, we're security researchers here. We, mess around with some kind of dangerous stuff. But if you want to send something to somebody specifically in a public chat, you want to make sure only they... Bro, this released. Tell them to shut the hell up. But what was the... Okay, yeah, key signing. Back to key signing. So, Kramer, whenever you get your new key generated, go ahead and delete the key you have in the Discord server. I'm going to pop that new one in. But let's go ahead and look at removing those extra 2 keys we have from Crimeware. I'm going to regenerate one of mine, or I'm going to regenerate the one I posted up on the Discord, because I exported 2 keys at the same time too. So... clear, we're going to do GPG tac H, and we want to remove a key, delete keys. So yeah, so what we're we're going to do is just take this tag delete key. Odds are we're going to have to specify key, which means we need to know which key we're specifying. So GPG tac K again, just to list our keys, and I want to remove this short key right here. So we're going to go GPG tac delete tac key, and then we're going to grab that key ID. Okay, and we're going to copy that and paste that in. Oh, because this is a secret key of mine, I also need to delete the secret key to get rid of the public key as well. So if you're deleting one of your own keys, you need to use the tac delete secret key. So let's do that real quick. We're going to actually modify that command a little bit. Still keep that same ID, but just kind of save ourselves some work. Probably could have just typed the word secret there and done that a lot easier. But bam, delete the key from this ring. Yes. This is a secret key. Really delete? Yes. It wants to make sure we're deleting it properly. Delete key. Yes. Did I? So if I look, I should now only... Well, that's weird. I still have 2 keys listed. But, oh, I bet because I deleted the secret key, now I should be able to do the public key. Okay, sorry, just got the Discord message. Oh, really? That's awesome. Oh, shit, I didn't know about that. That's so cool. Hold on. Okay, thanks, Cosmo. I knew about it on Windows, but I didn't know about it on Linux. So I didn't think that carried over. So that's actually pretty cool to see. As you guys saw a second ago, when I deleted it, it wanted me to delete the secret key first, but I'm willing to bet now if I do that. Yes, okay. So I deleted the secret key first, and now it needs me to delete the public key, which is fine, because that's what we needed to do. So now if I do GPG tac K, it should only show one key, the one that's generating, or that's leaving here. So let's go ahead and... Oh, so here, I'll explain it real quick. So if you look here, we tried to run it the first time, and it didn't want me to delete it because that public key that I assigned the ID to, that ID is shared by the public and private key, but only for the keys you generate. You have to have both key pairs for it to share the ID. So what I did was I went to go delete it like it was a normal key first using this ID, but I need to delete the private key first. So I came down, deleted the secret key or the private key first. When I listed, you can still see there was a key listed, and it was just the public key. So what I need to do then was delete the public key first. So you have to delete the private key, then the public key. And so that's what that second longer string was. It was the same key, technically. It was just the public version of it. So what I can do now, I need to re-export. So whenever you guys saw before, if you download the key that's on... What, mine's not? I'm still seeing live on my end. It might be your side because I'm still on my... Like, I've got it running on my phone. I can see the stream. Okay, so if you look over in... Stream is fine. That's what I thought. I was supposed to say, I got it on my phone. It looks fine. If you go over to Pgp, I'm going to go ahead and delete my original key because that one is got an extra key packaged inside of it. Crowmer, did you already generate your new key? Okay, in the Discord server, I'm going to go ahead and delete your key. I need you to re-export it because the one that you exported before exports both keys at once. So I deleted it there. If you just want to go ahead and post your new key, I'm about to do the same thing for mine. So we're going to go GPG, tac armor, tac export, Matze, because that's mine. And then we're going to export that out to Matze underscore pub.pgp. First, I'm going to actually clear that to make sure I've cleared that file out because my old one was named the same thing, but I want to make sure we get it right. And then we're going to export it again. So this now, when people import my key, don't import. Did you already import it? I was actually about to tell you don't import it because I needed to Okay, go ahead and delete both those keys, and then we're going to test the new import just to see if that worked. Okay, Crimeware just posted his. Okay. Crimeware, which key did you keep? What was that, Soul? How did you do that? Okay. Apparently we should be making our own cryptocurrency from Jeffrey in the chat. Do I dare open Outlandia on stream? Nah. For those of you who don't know, Outlandia is kind of a hidden server, or a hidden channel within the server that holds... Yeah, no, definitely not on stream. I would rather keep our monetization. It holds kind of our lawless wasteland of the server, so anything goes as long as it's legal and available by, you know, Discord's terms of services. But also sister. I was about to say, I was going to ask you if you did the Outlandia reaction setup, but let's see, where were we? Back. Yeah. Okay, so back to key signing. If you guys remember, we actually... Oh, so that's interesting. So if you guys look, whenever I listed keys again, after I removed the public and private key, there is... we no longer have trust with SoulCinders. That means when it signed the SoulCinders key the first time, it actually was using that first key we generated, which makes sense. It would probably go down the list to the first one, the newest, or the oldest one that exists. So now we're going to actually have to re-sign SoulCinders key. That's fine. We're going to go GPG, tac, sign key. You're really going to fight me that specific on Syntax. That's fine. So, once again, we're going to grab the ID of this key, copy, and we're going to paste. Do I really want to sign this key? Yeah, I'm going to sign this key, because I trust it. So it's going to ask for my password again. Correct me if I'm wrong, SoulCinder, you said you had to generate a new one? So, even though I've just signed this key, and it's pretty much not going to be any use anymore because we're going to have to regenerate keys. You can see now, again, we're back to full trust. Entropy. For those of you watching, you don't know the struggle of doing this on a weak machine. Like, the amount of entropy you have to generate for the key to work, because you have to generate enough to match that full 4096 bytes, I believe is what the size was. On, like, older machines, Pentium cores and everything, when that was considered, like, super fast. It took like 15-20 minutes to generate Pgp keys. Actually, to give you guys an idea, I've mentioned that when I first started doing all this, and I was still in like I was middle school, going into freshman year, I was working off of a Chromebook because that's all my parents would get me because they were too afraid that technology would taint me. Look where I am now. If only they knew they were correct. Trying to generate Pgp keys off of a Chromebook would take 45 minutes to an hour if you did the full 4096, and it was a nightmare. Yeah, nowadays it's a lot better. But like requirements for it and everything, but keep in mind it was also virtualizing. So for those of you who don't know, in a Chromebook you have the ability to essentially sideload a VM of Ubuntu, or there's a couple other options. I think there is Kali Linux technically as a sideloadable option, at least back then. I know it's expanded a lot more. You can actually do a lot more operating systems, a lot more capabilities on the new modern Chromebooks, but back in the day doing it was a little harder. You had to use Crouton to actually create those VMs to sideload it all in. So that's actually how I got my start with all this, was messing around with the Chromebooks and really wanting Kali Linux installed because that's what all the elite skeet hackers were using. And all I could get was Ubuntu. Uh-oh. Outlandia has been added to the server rules. That means Outlandia just got even more access to it. Alright, Soul, did you generate that new key already? Yep, there we go. Oh, you're good. Go for it. Yeah, it's there. I see it. Perfect. Oh, cool. Apparently in Discord, if you put your file extension instead of GPG or PGP, if you put it as an ASCII file, it'll actually just, like, if you look right here, it'll actually just in Discord read you what it is. So you can expand it, view the full key and everything. So let's go ahead and download that, put it over in home actually. So just so you know, what the format in which you export that key to, as long as there's app armor on it, it doesn't actually matter. You can put it in TXT, PGP, as you saw right here, ASCII. None of it really affects it that much. But so what we're going to do now is, once again with key signing, real quick, let's actually start migrating over to the Windows side for those of you who are on Windows. We probably won't go through as in depth with the Windows side. You don't have to. No, you can use PGP everywhere. Why? Because it makes the most sense. I mean, don't you use Linux as your primary? Well, that sucks. I really, really, really want to say I feel bad for you, but I don't. No, I'm just joking. So let's get this Windows VM open real quick. So pop into Windows 10. Bada bing, bada boom. For those of you who have been watching the AD streams, you know exactly what box this is, and you know the strain and heartbreak it has caused me. But that's neither here nor there. I don't feel like crying on stream today. I wasn't clicked in there. There we go. We're going to close that out. Let's go ahead and open up a browser, and we're going to download PGP for Win. PGP for Win. Oh, sorry, GPG for Win. So, GNU's, same stuff. So you're going to drop in, grab it. I'm going to go ahead and extend this out a little more so we can see it better. You guys know what the VM interface looks like, so there's no need for all that. Go ahead and download. We're going to leave a $0 donation. You can donate if you want to, but it's free, and for the sake of showing you guys, especially I'm not going to use it on Windows. I'm not going to pay. So, we have our file. So go ahead and open it. There we go. This is a VM, so we'll take a little bit longer just for the sake of what's behind it, everything. But just want to show you guys what options to select, make sure you have what packages and everything, because there's a couple different options within it. But this is also, like, in Windows, it becomes really seamless. So all the command line stuff that we've been doing for Linux, it's not too hard, but it becomes really seamless once you get into Windows and start looking at it the way that goes. So go to next. So here's where it's going to matter. So as you see, GNU PGP is always check. That's the whole engine behind it. You can't uncheck it. But what is important is this one. Make sure you have Cleopatra. So we're going to go ahead and hit next. The other ones are fine. If you want to leave those in there, that's not a big deal. Just go ahead and install. Let it go through the whole process. And it looks like you can actually add this into... Yep. And to Outlook, you can automatically add this option in there and import your PGP keys into Outlook for it to handle all that. But once again, even if it doesn't have a extension or some sort of add-in for your email to actually use these encrypted keys, you can still just drop in the encrypted text like we showed earlier. What's up? GPG. Okay, so Sol had to go. He said he had to take care of some stuff. So to sign all of it, what you do is GPG space tac sign tac key, and then the ID of the key whenever you list out your keys, which is PGP tac K to list your keys out. Whatever the ID was for that key. So we're going to open up Cleopatra real quick. I'm just going to show you guys this. We're going to generate a key real quick. Just stupid simple, just for you guys to see what the key process looks like for this. We've already gone through most of it. Cleopatra is a GUI based, so everything about it is going to be simple. So let's see. We are going to new key pair. Let's keep it Matze Hackerman. So here's the cool part. I don't know if you can see this. Because we're using an AD account, it's actually automatically pulling the account name, but it's also pulling the email, which it believes to be this, following the format. We can alter that with an AD, so this process can be within a environment be pretty easily kind of automatically signed up. We're just going to leave it as Mousy Hacker Man, leave the email the same. Not a big deal. We're going to go ahead and also make sure you do this. You always want to protect the key generation with a passphrase. Create a new passphrase, so we're just going to do something stupid, simple. And new key pair successfully created. So as you can see right here, it's very simple to create a key pair. We now have one. We're going to go ahead and finish. We can email back up the key pair. We can start migrating it using it however we want to. Send public key by email. Upload public key to directory service, which is probably another cool feature, probably another key escrow type setup. But say you grab a new key. You need to import a new key. Click here, download the same way as we did before. Instead of using the GPG tac import with the key name, you can just select the file, import it. And if I had to guess, yeah, probably sign. You can probably sign the keys themselves using this option. I'm not going to go too in-depth with it because, once again, it's a whole like GUI interface, and it's pretty self-explanatory what you're doing. But sign and encrypt, yep, you can just select your text file, all that fun stuff, or just your, what do you call it, your file in general. What's up? Let me take a look real quick. What's up? How you doing? Where are you at right now? I guess where are you sending this? You're good. No, I'll check it real quick and then you can send it off. Whose key did you sign? Let's see. Soul's mine. Yeah, that looks correct. If you see how it says full, it means full trust. If you see ultimate, it's because it was the key that you generated there, so it has ultimate trust of it. It knows where it came from because it came from itself. So as you guys saw on the Windows side, though, it is stupid simple to do it. It's just that GPG for win. Everything is stupid simple to do. You need to generate key pairs. You can generate key pairs. You need to import them. Do it that way. You need to decrypt and verify stuff. You go ahead and do it that way. One last thing I want to leave you guys off with real quick before we start wrapping down on the stream, since we've shown a couple other things. We might pick up on this again later, some other topic, or I might make an actual just separate video for it covering the installation topics, not so much bouncing around and everything. We have so far sent messages in chat using just the PGP export or encrypt with the app armor, where you can decrypt them that way. So like I said, you can implement that inwards. But say you send a key to somebody, you want to verify that key makes it to them correctly. If you guys remember, the same way that we listed keys, they come up with these IDs, and that's how we were signing them, was with these little strings right here. This is a fingerprint for the key. If you want to verify that a key got sent over correctly, what you would do is export that key to somebody and send it to them, but you would also separately send them this ID. As long as these IDs match up when that key is imported in, that means they've got the correct key. That's the best way to make sure. So if somebody says, hey, I've got one of your public keys, I want to make sure it's correct because I have two of them that have your name on it, which one's you? They can send that ID over, and that's how you can identify which one's which. Make sure you have the real authentic key for that specific person. So, before we start wrapping up, in chat, was there any questions in the server too? If you guys have any questions, let's start. I want to nip some of this stuff, make sure everybody's good to go. And just so you know, I'm always in the Discord server as well. So if you guys want to come chat, you want to do this later, if you guys are watching the stream after this and you have some questions on it, come jump in. And for anybody watching or this even in the future, throw your keys over in that Discord chat over there, that PGP key storage. Start building out your web of trust. Start, messaging people. Start using your PGP a little more. Even if it's not for security, it's just a fun thing to do, fun and nerdy. I mean, how many people are doing this? Not many. That's no problem, man. If you, like I said, if anybody has questions, shoot me a DM, message me here in the server. I mean, if you've got a question, odds are other people do too. So putting that knowledge out there and those questions out there for us to answer them, lets everybody kind of get those questions nipped a little quicker and everything. But by all means, this has been awesome. I'd love to see more of this. And if you guys have other recommendations or other implementations, by all means, show me what how you've implemented your stuff. I would love to see it. And my key's here in chat. Send me some private messages. Shoot me over your public key. Shoot me some messages. We'll chat. But in the immortal words of Cosmo, stay happy, stay hacking, and love you guys. Bye. Yes, sir.